They say that starting a business is like planting a garden. At first, you're filled with excitement. That feeling when you just planted your seeds, picturing the blooms that are going to grow. I remember that excitement well. It felt like the best idea I had ever had. This would be it, the business that worked. But like with any garden, there were times when I doubted. After all, I had tried 5 other businesses and none of them had flourished. And each failure was like watching seedlings wither. And I couldn't help but wonder, would this one be different? And then it started happening. One student found me, then another. And it was like watching the first little sprouts pushing up through the soil. Every new student brought a new high, like the garden was finally taking root. But just as often, the fear came rushing back, like a sudden frost. When a student left, I worried. Will I ever get another one? Will all my hard work vanish just like that? The garden was growing, but it was fragile. I needed to tend to it every day, and not just with hard work, but with the right mindset. And the biggest mistake I made early on was treating payments like invitations, sending invoices instead of being firm about my value. It felt like I was asking, would you mind paying me? Instead of confidently knowing that the work I did had worth. Like I was hoping the rain would come, instead of making sure I was watering those seeds myself. I realized I needed a change. Like Netflix's autopay model, consistent, reliable. The moment I switched to autopay, everything changed. Suddenly, I was no longer at the mercy of clients' whims. I was standing tall, like a gardener confident in the care they gave. If I could tell my past self one thing, it's this. There will be times when you wonder if it's all worth it. If maybe you should go back to the safe path. But don't. The garden you're planting has the power to bring real change to families who need you. Going back would be easy, but the easy path doesn't grow the flowers that people need. And when setbacks hit, because they will, know that the answer isn't always there today. Sometimes growth needs time. If today's solution isn't clear, give it space. Let the soil rest. Come back tomorrow, and you might find that the answer has quietly sprouted overnight. One of the hardest things to let go of was the limiting belief about what parents were willing to pay. I thought, would I pay $40 an hour for tutoring? It seems so much, but it turns out the cap on how much I thought I could make was only in my mind. And as soon as I let it go, I realized the value I provided wasn't just about my time, it was about the transformation I offered. There were days when the setbacks seemed overwhelming, when students left, when criticisms rolled in. People would leave harsh comments on my videos. They'd say my voice or my headphones or even my eyebrows didn't look right. It would have been easy to stop. But then I remembered what someone once said. When people criticize you, it means you're being seen. And being seen is the first step toward growth. I chose to keep planting, keep watering, keep showing up. The garden metaphor doesn't end with blooms. A true garden is never finished. It needs care, tending, and sometimes even replanting. And as the seasons change, so does the garden. I realized that I didn't have to rely on just one plant to keep everything thriving. Today, I've created different streams of income. Tutoring, coaching, affiliate marketing, sponsorships, courses, and my community. If one crop fails, the garden doesn't wither. The growth continues. The beauty of this journey is that we always have the power to change our narrative. I could have let the lows keep me down, but instead, I chose to believe that every dip was simply another lesson in the garden's life cycle. And if you're on this journey, I hope you remember this. Growth isn't always linear. Sometimes it looks like setbacks, like cold winters where nothing seems to grow. But those seasons prepare you for the spring. So keep planting, keep watering, keep believing. The flowers will bloom and the harvest will come.